75 degrees just before low tide, just after 7 a.m. on July 6th. You know what day it is, T-Rex? You know what day it is? It's Auntie Virginia Ann's birthday. Should we surprise her with some blueberry pancakes this morning? It's a little less cluttered. How many days does it take you to set up your picnic, and how many days does it take you to break it down? I'm at about day 10 of that whole process. Gorgeous day this morning. Hello, Hingham Ferry. I actually paddleboard all the way over there yesterday to the Hewitt's Cove. Oh boy, this is weird. The weather stick is pointed down, T-Rex. I think that's because it was very foggy a few minutes ago. You want to see the sunrise time lapse? Can't see the sunrise, but you can see it getting brighter. I'm looking west where the sun sets, and that was gorgeous. I'll show you that too. What's going on? Well, suddenly we have a heat wave. Yesterday, many spots, especially in New Hampshire and Maine, were 90 degrees. It's going to be 90 degrees again today, and it's going to be 90 degrees again tomorrow, away from the ocean. I think Boston may hit 90 today around 5 o'clock in the afternoon. We're going to have very light wind with an onshore flow, so we'll be in the 80s, very sticky. The dew point is already in the 70s this morning. Today may be the hottest, most humid day we've had so far this season. There is a heat advisory in effect in parts of northern New England, where the National Weather Service does not tell you what the temperature is going to be, just tells you the heat index. A lot of people don't really like dealing with that. The temperature is going to be about 92. The dew point's going to be about 73. And sort of like a wind chill factor. It's harder for your body to cool when it's more humid. Opposite, but I mean, it's a factor. It's not actually a real temperature. And that'll create a heat index of about 95 or 96, right? Yesterday was really interesting. Stephen and many people sharing a shot of a single towering cumulonimbus cloud near Sebago Lake, off in the distance. There was one report of severe weather, I think in Ellsworth, Maine, with some large hail yesterday. Anyhow, isolated thunderstorm yesterday. It's going to be a little less isolated today. The lifted index is minus 5 degrees Celsius. If you take a parcel up from the surface, it's going to be unstable. It's going to continue to rise, and it gets warmer. And so the differential between that parcel and the surrounding air is going to be 5 degrees Celsius cooler, so that parcel keeps on rising. Did I describe that right, Stephen? So we have isolated shower or thunderstorm. Overall, that old front we had is decayed and pushed off to the south, so we just left over a soupy air mass. And the front is still over the mid-Atlantic states, and it looks like a little low-pressure system's trying to develop off south of Nantucket. What do you want to see first, 500 or surface? I mean 700. 700 looks fun. 700 millibars up in the sky is about 10,000 feet. And it's warm to hot air, even though it doesn't look that orange on our side of the country. Southwestern United States, obviously a lot hotter than us, 100 degrees every day. It would be a heat index every day there. The criteria is different if you live in a warm climate. Anyhow, the blue is very cold, and we have some very cold air coming across southern Canada, so there's going to be a boundary between fronts coming at us from the south, from northwest to southeast, starting Friday. All right, now let's go to the surface maps. Today, tomorrow, just an isolated shower and a thunderstorm. And then Friday, more typical summer-type thunderstorms where you get a front coming into western New England, you get strong to perhaps isolated severe thunderstorms from Maine into northern New Hampshire and parts of Vermont. Then they kind of fall apart coming towards the east coast. But that will bring in more clouds by Saturday and Sunday in eastern New England. And then Sunday and Monday, now you have the front pressing further to the south and east. And now you're getting into a situation a little bit like what we just had with the front stalled in southern New England starting about Monday or so. And then we have off and on showers and thunderstorms next week. So next week looks very wet again for parts of, well, especially central and southern New England. Almost a little tropical connection there. Nothing really organized in the tropics, but like we say many times, it doesn't take a tropical storm to create tropical downpours. We've had so much rain, and there's not much change to that forecast. I saw you out there this morning, Andrew, going by. How was the fishing? The fog really was dense early. Now it's gone. And it was very interesting on satellite. Crows. So yesterday I felt a little bit like Forrest Gump. I went on my stand-up paddleboard. I started right over here on the beach, and I said, oh, let's go around Fort Point and check it out, see if I can see any of my neighbors out there. And it was so nice, I just kept going and going. I went over to Crow Point, I waved to the Page's house, then I went over to Hewitt's Landing, Hewitt's Cove, and I waved to the McKinnons, and then I kind of cut behind the ferry. I don't know if the captain was too happy about that. It was docked, but I had to go through his thruster, you know, the thruster they keep it pushed on the dock. And then I came up right through Turn Harbor, showing the time lapse because what else do I have to show? The time lapse just showing how the tide went out and the thing came back in, and it was just a gorgeous day with very little in the way of wind yesterday. So that was really fun. And there was enough wind though for the sailors. Oh yeah, I want to talk a little bit more about this morning's temperatures. While we have a heat advisory in effect over the Central Plains, there was record cold this morning. Bemidji, Minnesota hit 41 this morning. So there's always hot somewhere and cold somewhere, and we're enjoying the first heat wave of summer 2023. I say enjoy because I don't have to work that hard outdoors. And I got to get my sailing lingo down. I didn't think there was enough wind for spinnakers yesterday, but there was. I finally ran into the crew of Tempo, and thank you for hosting me for your post-race dinner last night at West Augusta. That was really fun. Kevin and the crew of Tempo saying, yes, those colorful sails you saw are spinnakers. We put them up almost every race. So normally the prevailing wind around here is from the southwest, and you'd see the spinnakers as they move from west to east, but yesterday the wind was from the east, and it's been like that just about every week this season. We've had very little in the order of so-called normal weather. There's no such thing as normal weather. It's a balance of the extremes. Anyhow, yesterday the east wind and those red sails are spinnakers. Thank you. And I guess there was some contact between a couple sailboats behind Sheep Island, so I didn't have it on my video. Sheep Island is that one right there on the right. Ferry's going by it to the left right now. So I'll leave you with some observations from yesterday and some time lapse. A little bit smoky at sunset. Great to meet you, Kevin and crew. We'll see you again. Tide's still going out, really low tide. Talk to you later. 6:40, July 5th. Why can't we get weather like this on July 4th? Beautiful. There's the Twilight Series sailboat race way out there. You guys aren't coming toward us tonight, so it's gonna be hard to make a time lapse, but I'll give it a go. It's like 87 degrees, even with a light onshore wind. Just gorgeous July weather. Hardly a cloud in the sky, but it does look like there's a little bit of smoke returning to our sky. Sailboats are still too far away, so how about some swimmers and beachcombers? Tide's getting really low right now. It's really fun finding all the little things. Little things being periwinkles, mussels, barnacles, green crabs, and assorted seaweeds. And all right, sailors, there you are. There's Fort Point, the rocks, and we'll try and do you some time lapse here. Very low tide, and it's outgoing. I forgot to say it on the forecast this morning. Outgoing tide, light winds. Whoops, I let it go for 11 minutes and you disappeared from the frame. There are some colorful sails now. Are there spinnakers? I don't think so. I'm gonna come out with you one of these weeks, Kevin or Jeff, and figure out how many different sails you use in these races. Very competitive. 7:17. I let it run full of memory. Actually, ran out of store.